Good morning, everyone. My name is Edgar Jimenez with Small Business Development Center at Chinese Mutual Aid. Thank you very, very much for all of you meeting with us this morning, and this will be recorded and shared later. We're honored to have Young Tran with National ACE to be with us this morning, and of course, a presentation by Ms. Michelle Salpietra of Google. So one thing you may know or may not know, SBDC, we are a no-cost business advisory for all small businesses. And of the 42 in the state of Illinois, our Illinois SBDC at Chinese Mutual Aid is the only one focused on within the API community. So we're honored to be part of this important organization and being here to help all of the business who have any needs that include ways to increase your sales, how to create your business. Should you do an LLC versus a corp, C corp, and even getting social media campaigns going, selling online. So we have a depth of experience with our team, as well as with our colleagues that we have on board here, as well as our presenters. So so that is about the SBDC. We do have our contact information, and you'd be able to call us or sign up directly online. Next, we do have, we will, for today, any questions you may have, please type in the QA for chat. I'll be the one facilitating any questions and concerns I will be bringing up with the presenters or we'll bring up at the end. And please be aware, again, this is recorded. It'll be maintained in our client resource library, and we'll take it from there. So without further ado, I want to introduce Young Tran from National ACE.
Thank you so much, Edgar. Hi, everyone. My name is Young Tran. I am the Programs Associate at National ACE. The longer name is the National Asian Pacific Islander American Chamber of Commerce and Entrepreneurship, but we can just stick with National ACE. Thank you so much for having me here today. We are a proud partner with Grow with Google and the Chinese Mutual Aid and SBDC to provide workshops for small businesses and to take. We are a proud partner with Grow with Google and Chinese Mutual Aid and SBDC. And this program is to provide small workshops for small and medium businesses to take advantage of the accessible Google tools and resources. Today, we are going over how to launch your business with customer-focused marketing with our very special trainer, Michelle. Michelle is an administrative business partner at Google in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'll turn it over to her to introduce herself and start the programming.
Yeah, thanks, Young. As you mentioned, my name is Michelle. I work at Google. I've been at Google for 4 years now. The first 2 years at Google, I worked in small business advertising. So I would help really small businesses all the way up to medium-sized businesses with their online presence and their advertising at Google. And now I work in Google Cloud as an administrative business partner. So I have kind of a wide variety of experience within Google, but today we're going to be focusing on small business growth and how to launch your business with a customer-focused mindset. So I will go ahead and present here and we can get started. I will ask you during our presentation to maybe.
Michelle, I think you actually accidentally muted yourself. Can you unmute yourself?
There you go, Michelle.
Yeah, it's muting when I share my screen. So give me 1 second here. It's not letting me unmute while I share my screen. I think I got it now. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We'll work it out. I work at Google, but I still have technical difficulties sometimes. So if you need to grab a pen and paper or something on your computer just to write down a few notes, because I will mention ask this in reference to your business, just good ideas for you to kind of brainstorm and be really active throughout the session so that you can get the most out of it. As I mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box, and I will also save some time at the end to answer any questions that anybody might have. So let's dive in. This is a Grow with Google training. As we mentioned, it's an initiative to help small businesses or people prepare for work and grow their business. And today we're going to talk about the basics of customer-focused marketing to help you launch a successful business or to re-strategize your marketing. Here's our agenda for today. You'll learn why marketing is so important, and we'll introduce the customer journey and explain how your marketing can influence who does business with you. You'll learn how to reach prospective customers and build awareness of your brand. And you'll also learn how to engage your customers during the decision-making process from when they're buying to influence their consideration. You'll learn the methods of conversion, which means for you maybe a sale, maybe it means a lead form. So if you hear me say the word conversion, that means your goal for customers, what you want them to do with your business. So you'll learn the methods of conversion and increase the likelihood of a purchase with a customer. And you'll learn also how to sustain loyalty long-term with a customer and encourage brand advocacy even post-purchase. Let's start by talking about what marketing is and why the customer journey is a key element in that. So marketing guru Seth Godin mentioned that great marketers don't make stuff, they make meaning. And this is kind of our guiding principle for today's session. Really, you might be making stuff with your business. Maybe you make products, maybe you have a service. You're really heads down focused on the things that you are providing to customers. That's usually what small business owners or people that maybe are also working for that small business are thinking about, is the product, the content, the stuff. But we want to take a step back as marketers and think about the meaning that we can provide to our customers. It's making products or services meaningful, and that's what helps us make a customer base that is loyal to our brand. But you might be wondering, how does this begin? Today, we're going to talk about a real-life brand, TW Tote. Owners are Shalon and Sharika, and they are the founders of this business, and we're going to be using this business throughout multiple parts of our journey today as an example. Shalon couldn't find a professional way to carry his lunch to work, and he had tried so many different things, a paper bag, plastic bag, Velcro neoprene mail bags. None of them reflected his style of professionalism and what he wanted to present for himself. So he decided to take matters in his own hands and make his own lunch bag, and then started selling them for others. He is the founder of this business. And like I said, we're going to be talking about it in a variety of ways, but he, as an entrepreneur, started with a passion and a great idea. So maybe you have those already and you're like, you know what, Michelle, I have those. I'm ready to move forward, but I don't know what I'm doing yet. These decisions that you might be making about your business might largely be based on assumptions so far. So for example, you might think you know what customers want based on what you're guessing about them. You might think you know how they're identifying with your brand. There are a lot of assumptions in the early stages of business processing. And now we want to take more like a data-based approach and really think critically using this structure to design marketing for our customers. So what is marketing?
Michelle? Oh, sorry, yeah. Michelle, just a quick request from the audience, just to slow down the pace just a little bit. We do have some, business owners who either are trying to listen, take notes, but also English could be their second language.
Yeah, absolutely. Apologies for that.
No
I get eager about the content, and we have a lot to go through in an hour.
Absolutely,
so
Michelle.
thank you for that. Thank you. So what is marketing? Let's go back here. At its core, marketing is an ongoing effort to create meaning for your customers. So again, it's an ongoing effort about creating meaning. It answers questions like, why should customers buy from you? What makes your product or service great? Why should they listen to your advice? Storytelling helps impart meaning on your products and brands, and it can connect customers with your business on an emotional level. So when customers buy from you, you want them to have a good feeling after they leave or after that purchase. Marketing can do that. Your marketing should be about building relationships, developing trust, and creating credibility so that your customers want to buy from you. Staying in touch through the customer journey, which we'll talk about in a minute, what the customer journey is, will help those customers think of you first. So speaking of the customer journey, these are the 4 steps that we're going to be identifying here. The customer journey is exactly what it sounds like. Every step of the way for the customer, from when they first hear about your brand to ultimately when they've already made a purchase and are now telling other people about the brand. Awareness is the first phase. So this is when you think about a business and the first time that you're hearing about it. This is when a customer discovers you. This might be through word of mouth, a Google search, an advertisement. Think about for your business, maybe some awareness stages. Are you doing marketing? Do you have a customer loyalty program for referring new people? Those awareness steps are when people are hearing about you for the first time. So think about those for your individual business. Once we've passed awareness, we move into the consideration phase. This is where customers decide whether they'll buy from you or a competitor, whether they won't buy at all, or maybe they'll change products after looking at the offerings that you have. So again, what does consideration look like for your product or service? For some businesses, this consideration phase might be really long because it's a large purchase or requires a lot of research or details. This may be really short if you have a quick purchase, something that's less expensive, or maybe your customers come to you knowing exactly what they want. So maybe take a minute and think about what consideration might look like for your business. After consideration, the customer moves into that purchase phase. Now, this could be purchase, it could be filling out a lead form, actually going through with that service, whatever it is, remember that conversion that we talked about, whatever that valuable action is for your business, that happens during the purchase phase. This may be a one-time purchase, or it might be over a long time where they do multiple purchases with you. That leads us into our final phase, which is advocacy. And this is when customers love your business so much and they love their purchase that then they recommend that purchase or your business to others. So think about advocacy for your business. Do you have customers that are constantly sending new people your way? Do you have people that are maybe writing you Google reviews? Do you have a loyalty program? What does advocacy look like for your small business? So when we think about marketing, we are influencing, and we want to influence at every step of the customer journey. At the awareness phase, our marketing is focused on reaching customers, so how they become aware of your brand. You might have already thought about these, Google Ads, word of mouth, whatever that might be. During consideration, your marketing is about engaging customers by answering questions and building relationships. So this might be making sure that the customer is getting the right product or service based on their needs. This might mean troubleshooting with them to find something better for them, or delivering the service or brand that customer needs. In the purchase phase, your marketing is about influencing your leads, so converting them to paying customers. And lastly, sustaining contact with customers who had a good experience can build loyalty and turn them into advocates. So these questions down at the bottom are really helpful for guiding how you think about your business and how you think about influencing the customer journey during each step of these. At every phase of this customer journey, you have opportunity to persuade your customer to move forward with you into the next step. The better the marketing each step, the greater the influence and the longer the customer journey. So a question to think about here is, what phase of the customer journey do you think that you need the most marketing help? Maybe you are really great at awareness and getting your brand out there, but then once customers find you, you maybe are struggling to answer questions or influence them to make a buying decision. Perhaps you have great awareness and great purchase, but advocacy and long-term engagement with customers post-purchase is a little bit more difficult for you. Maybe highlight, if you're writing things down, or circle which one is your best stage that you feel most confident in, and which one is maybe the stage that you could use a little bit support or development in, and focus specifically on that area during today's workshop. Today, we're going to talk first about the first phase, so reach prospects and create awareness, and then we'll go through each phase individually so that you can kind of drill down on which ones are most important for you. So influencing the customer journey first with awareness. Again, our guiding question here is, how do you reach your customers? How do they hear about you? This could begin when someone needs something. Usually a lot of people will turn to the internet to search for these things. It could also be, though, through word of mouth, advertising, trade show marketing, or other types of communication. No matter how your customers find you, they'll likely continue their research by searching online for your business. So an online presence is really going to help out in this awareness stage if you don't already have it. A good question that you can ask customers if you really have no idea what your efforts are in awareness and you're trying to gauge where you are and how customers are finding you. A great question to ask customers, whether it's on a lead form, in a person while they're purchasing, is, how did you hear about us? That can be a really good first step to understanding your reach and how customers find you. You want to start by identifying who needs your product. So you identify your customer. Now you might be thinking, well, my product or service works for everybody. That might be the case. However, there's always going to be a target audience, a smaller group of that audience who might be more profitable for you to target, or might use that good or service a little bit more than other users in your audience. It's not necessarily that you can't target everybody, but when you identify the customers who are a smaller subset, it's going to be beneficial for you to use that and influence their marketing decisions rather than focusing on the large scale, all customers. You want to build a brand that sparks the interest of those customers and then get your business online. So back to our lunch bag company, TW Tote. When it comes to identifying your customer, it's good to think about whose problems you are solving. So for example, here, this brand is solving the problem of people who are professional and need lunch boxes, but also have a personal style. So while these lunch boxes might work for everybody, their target audience is somebody who is traveling or walking to work, who cares about their personal style and who wants a bag that is able to reflect that style. Think about this for your own business. Maybe write down some things that you know about your target audience. Maybe if you don't know those things, think about questions that you might have that could get you to that. So, why did I create this brand? Who usually purchases from me? What need does this purchase fulfill for my customer? Your brand and products, again, might be useful for everybody, but we want to kind of narrow this down to focus on your most likely customers so that we don't spread ourselves too thin across the full audience. This is called market segmentation, when we take our full audience and break it down into a smaller group. We can do that by demographics, psychographics, such as personality, lifestyle, or interests, geographics like location, as well as behavior. So understanding the frequency of their purchases and the usage of their products. Again, market segmentation can be broken down by one of these, all of these, a subset of them, and it's going to help us to identify our target customers. So here's an example of a customer persona. This is an example of an ideal target customer for a business after you've answered those questions about what their demographic is, what their buying behavior is, etc. Creating customer personas can give you a real picture of who you're trying to reach to really help you target that ideal person. So for example, the customer persona that we have here is somebody in her mid-30s, female, single, and living alone in a large city. She likes traveling, she likes wine, and she is college educated. So once we have this persona, then we can ask ourselves the questions of, how do we market to her? Where is she consuming information about products? What channels would we use to reach her? What type of imagery, words, or tone of voice would appeal to her? And what type of product attributes, so what things about our product or service can we highlight that are important to her? So think about this in terms of your own business. It might be hard to craft an entire customer persona right now, but think about a few attributes. What is your target audience age? What is your target audience location? What things are they looking for in new products? You might not know these questions for your business right away, and that's totally fine. Just Use them as guiding questions to think about when you're building your brand and your customer persona. So we've identified our customer, and now it's time to create a brand and material that advocates for them. Branding is more than just logos or colors, graphic elements, and voice. A good brand identity connects emotionally to your prospective customers. So it really draws them in and, again, gives them that meaning. Your logo and colors might even convey certain feelings or inspire certain actions. And your messaging and tone of voice will help communicate what your brand is about, how it relates, and how it aligns to your customer values. You might know these things for your business already. So think about, what are my logo and colors? How did they relate to my customers? Maybe you just chose those because you liked them. Maybe you chose them because they worked well together. However, think about it in terms of your customer and think, are all aspects of my branding, all the way from logo to messaging, the right fit for the target customer that I have? So based on our TW Totes example, we create these shared values for the basis of our brand. So TW Tote positions itself as a luxury but approachable brand. They want their products to be accessible while meeting their standards for quality and care. They use characteristics like that, luxury, accessible, stylish, to describe who they are, who they want to be, and how they want to be perceived. So again, who are you? Who do you want to be? And what do you stand for? Answering those questions can help you build an identity and a brand for your own business. Once we have these kind of ideas in place about who we are and how we want to present ourselves to our customers, we can create a brand positioning statement. A brand positioning statement is our North Star idea, and it can be used externally in our marketing. Now, we'll dive into this as well a little bit more, so we'll have a couple more slides on this. But it should answer these questions. Who do you serve? What do you offer? What differentiates you from competitors? And maybe your premise or your mission. It should be brief, clear, and memorable. And it should create a cohesive, powerful experience for your customers. And this is really kind of the guiding message that shares that to your customers. So here's an example, and we'll stay on this slide for a minute or two so that you can write down this for yourself. But this is a template for creating a brand positioning statement. This is really that guiding first step in providing a marketing or a branding strategy. When you create this brand statement, all other branding marketing activities can funnel through what you've outlined here. So you really just take out the blue parts and fill in your examples there. So for your audience, in our example, maybe that's women in their mid-30s. Again, it might not be your full audience, but this is just the subset or the target market that you are trying to reach. So for your audience, and then you'll state their customer challenge or need. So we can see an example in just a minute, but why is your customer coming to your business? What need is your service or your good providing? The next step should be easy for you if you already have this set up, your company name, and then provides, and then you talk about your product and any differentiation. So any differences that you might have from your competitors or from other market businesses. And then finally, because, following with your brand promise or your mission. So we're going to skip just here to see an example of this, and I'll flip back to the other slide as well. So we said for the audience, who, customer challenge or need. So for working professionals, that's the audience. Working professionals who need and here's the customer challenge or need, a stylish and functional lunch bag. So the audience is working professional. The need is stylish and functional lunch bags. The name of the business, TW Tote, provides, and then here we have the service or good or differentiator from the market. Fashionable, insulated, vegan leather totes. So you'll notice how they put those additional words in there to describe. They didn't just say leather totes. This is because they want their brand to be targeted towards people who are interested in fashionable things, maybe who are focused on ethical sourcing for maybe vegan products. So they really focus on not only their product, but also the differentiators that change them from competitors in the marketplace with those describing words. Because, and then here's their reason or mission for working. Everyone deserves a luxurious and functioning lunch bag that the entire family can use. So again, we'll flash back here one more time, and I definitely recommend thinking about this in line with your business. Maybe you don't have all of these answered yet, which is totally fine. But think about who your audience is, what your customer challenge or need is, your product differentiator, so what makes you different than competitors, as well as your brand promise or your mission. Once we've figured out our brand and how we want to present ourselves, we want to place ourselves online. Customers are always looking online, and this is the best way to connect to your customers. You may find an audience through platforms like social media, Etsy, or other sites where you can sell directly online, directory sites, so things that are for specific industries like accountants or plumbers. You may already have an online presence, but you may want to look into building your own website. Your website is an asset to you because you own it, you control it, and you grow as your business grows. So with your website, you can really integrate your messaging and your branding in there, and you can control the narrative of your brand and your influence in your own website more than you might be able to just on a secondary platform like Etsy or another platform for specific industries. You can also create a free business profile on Google. So if you've ever done a Google search and seen it's on the right-hand side if you're on a computer, or it's the first thing that comes up on your screen if you are on mobile devices, it's this little icon that you'll see in here on this slide where it's the name of the business, and then it has things like phone, website, etc. This is a business profile. You can do this for your business by going to google.com/business. But this is a great way to display critical information to customers and people who are searching for you across Google Search and Google Maps. It doesn't replace a website, but it can help you stand out in search results. It's probably something that I interact with every time I'm searching for a business. I used it just last night when I needed to call a business. I used it this morning when I was looking for directions. It can help provide your customer with business hours, contact information, store location, photos, even more. And there are also built-in marketing features here to communicate with your customers throughout the customer journey. So again, you can find more information about this by going to google.com/business, but this is a free thing for you to set up on Google, so I highly, highly recommend it. So we've moved away from the awareness stage, and now we're going to influence consideration. So again, this is where our customer is deciding which product to buy, which service to go for, or to engage with one of our competitors, or not purchase anything at all. During the consideration phase, customers are deciding whether or not they want to do business with us, and they're evaluating our brand compared to other choices. Here, we really want to provide answers to their questions, build relationships, and help them with their evaluation. Engaging your customer during this consideration phase is crucial. We want to learn about their needs by listening, asking questions, and having meaningful conversation. We spend time communicating and delivering valuable information to our customers. And our ultimate goal is to build interest and desire so that our customer wants to build a long-term relationship and make that conversion or purchase. We want to listen and learn. We don't want to make assumptions about them. We can ask them what their pain points are. The better understanding we have of their needs, the better we can provide them with a solution. So at TW Tote, they discovered that their customers loved their lunch bags, but also needed different types of totes for a variety of uses. So by listening to their customers, Shalon and Sharika were able to understand their customer needs and challenges and provide the right products for them. You can also analyze what customers are searching for online if maybe you have a Google Analytics account set up, and you can understand what they might be searching for that gets them to your business. By listening and learning, you can figure out how you can best serve your customers. So what are customers searching for? You can use Google search to find out what your customers might be looking for. How do your prospective customers search? What terms do they use that can connect them to your product or brand? Again, this might be through Google Analytics. Maybe you can look at Google Trends, which will show you how much people are searching for a specific word that you ask. And you can learn these search terms. Most small businesses should have at least 5 and probably up to 30 keywords or phrases that they know their customers use to search for their type of products and expertise. Again, I don't expect you to know these about yourself right away, but think, what are some words that somebody would sit down and type into Google in order to get my business? If you've identified these keywords, whether they've been through a source like Google Analytics, whether you've talked to some of your customers, or there's something that you think and you know about your own business, maybe think of a few of them for your own business and what you can think about for yourself when customers are searching for you. These are really critical for thinking about how you show up for a customer and the information that you provide for them.
Michelle, can I ask a question about that for a moment?
Sure.
About the search word. So the way it is, it's an auction for getting those words that are most relevant to your brand. But let's say I'm an intellectual property lawyer, and let's say there's 200 really good IP lawyers within the Chicagoland area. Can I bid on words based on time? Like maybe a lot of my clients would search 7 o'clock at night versus at noon. Is there a way to bid for words based on time, or am I simply bidding against all the other IP law firms out there? Let's say, for example, patent. What's your advice for all of us here, since we have all the different types of businesses and different words mean different things to us, but we still want to get that success on Google?
Yeah, so you're asking a question about Google Ads because there is no way to control what time you show up in organic search results. But if you wanted to control the amount of time or what times you show up in search results for Google Ads, so this would be for small businesses who are advertising with Google Ads on the Google Ads platform, you are paying to show up on Google Ads, you are able to create a schedule with those ads. So you can say, I want to show up only during these hours, or I don't want to show up during these hours. So if you want help with figuring that out, I definitely recommend going to help.google.com. Again, that's help.google.com, and then searching in that search bar, ad schedule, and it will tell you how to create an ad schedule there so that you should control how you show up for customers and when you show up for them using advertising. So speaking of Google search, when you show up for a customer, when they're searching for you on Google, they search for these keywords and they'll see those related searches come up. So this is below the search, but below the advertising is organic search. So we've got advertising on the top of the page, organic search in the middle, and then more advertising at the bottom. So maybe you're showing up for organic search, maybe you're using Google advertising and showing up at the top of the page or the bottom of the page. And if you have that business profile and somebody searches directly for your business, you would show up on the right side of the page. So we talked about popular search terms and how you can find out about those. And one tool is using Google Trends. So it's just g.co or google.com/trends. This helps you find keywords or new ideas for content. You just start by searching for one word, and then you can even compare the popularity of different words. It's a really cool tool to understand data and trends. You can drill this down into a geographic location, a time, and you can even see different related search terms that somebody might be searching for. So if you have questions about your individual business and you're wondering, maybe I don't know what search terms people are using, just think about one search term that you might use, plug it into Google Trends, and you can explore from there about how customers are searching and some other terms that they might be into. Once you know what your customer is looking for, it's time to give them what they want. So the shift is from listening and communicating, listening to communicating, where you start sharing content that educates them and inspires them. What can you teach your customers? What can you demonstrate or instruct them in relation to your products or services? How can you help them, inspire them, or provide resources? You can engage with your customers by giving them valuable information that proves that you're a credible source of information about your industry. So again, here you're building trust, sharing expertise, and guiding customers to make the right decision for a product or a service. It's not necessarily about promoting your product specifically. It's more about offering information that helps them with their research. So we're sharing valuable content and establishing expertise. You can share content, words, photos, videos through many different channels. You don't have to be on all of them, but you do have the opportunity to reach different audiences in different ways through different channels. This may be social media, email, YouTube, podcasts, online publishing, or website or blogs. These are the different ways that you can show up for your company or for your customers and give them an opportunity to learn more about you, as well as the goods or services that you may provide.
You know, Michelle, can you share searchable functionality with the social medias, maybe the top 3? You know, is it easy to do a TikTok, do searches, let's say for baking a cake? Does TikTok or Instagram or Facebook have any advantage over another one as long as they all have good SEO? Or are you finding anything within Google that some of the social media is not as powerful, or actually weak positioning because of just the function of the social media? And I would also throw in podcasts.
Yeah, so I can't speak to the power of social media or which ones are better than the other simply because I'm coming from Google's perspective. But what I can say about social media as a whole is that it's going to grab customer attention, but then what you do with that is kind of in your hands. So you want to focus on having a website that is informative and interactive. If you link something in a social media post or you have something that's displayed in the social media, then you want to send your customer to the right page on your website immediately following that. So again, I can't speak to how to be more effective on social media, but I can say that communicating with your customers in a variety of channels is really part of the awareness, and you can also then help them with consideration. But ultimately, the next step is driving them to your website, making that purchase with them, which will kind of continue them through that customer journey phase.
And then Michelle, one final thing, as you're talking about driving purchase, we do have attendees today who sell services. Again, their accounting services, could be insurance brokerage, buying a house, but there's not necessarily a flat price for that. Any tie-ins with how their strategy will be different than someone who's selling hard goods?
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard me earlier saying that sometimes it's just a lead form, and that's what a conversion is for some people. So it's not always just a purchase. And if it's a purchase, it might be a one-time quick purchase, or it might be a longer research journey. So some of those higher value tickets. That doesn't mean that you necessarily have a much different marketing strategy, more so that the customer journey is a little bit longer. And so for those larger customer purchases or for lead forms that require a lot more communication, you just want to make sure that you're having more and frequent customer touch points in that consideration phase. Because you have a longer customer journey, there's more chances that your customer can drop off along the way. So you want to make sure if you have those larger buying journey timelines, you want to make sure that you have more and often frequent customer touch points.
Great, thank you.
So that's a great segue into our sharing, not selling focus. We don't want to necessarily make the customer feel like they're being sold to. That's what scares so many people away from purchasing. And it also scares a lot of businesses away from marketing because they don't want to talk at their customers. They don't want to sound salesy or make their customers feel like they're being pressured. So you want to just be able to inform them and share the right information. You still promote your business and tell them how your business might compare to competitors, but you want to provide opportunities for them to evaluate your brand and your products through your content. This might be through an FAQ page, a comparison sheet, demo videos, webinars, or samples if that is applicable to your business.
Say, Michelle, okay. I'm sorry, Michelle, I was just going to mention the screen wasn't showing, but your slide came back. All good.
Oh, okay. No worries. Thanks. So moving into developing relationships, especially if you have a longer buying cycle, you want to be able to solve your customers' problems, have conversations with them, and then also help them evaluate you and your goods or services. During the consideration phase, it can be long and it definitely takes patience, but we want to have a consistent content strategy and dedicate to multiple engagement points through a variety of channels. So let's look at another real-world business example, Tracy and Danny, who sell cupcakes. They took their business online and understood more about their customers, identified opportunities to improve their site, and gave customers reasons to come back and share their experience. They had an experience where they were on a popular TV show, and so their brand awareness was really high, but then they had to work to kind of focus on those later stages. They had the awareness with the TV show, but they really wanted to focus on consideration and engagement to the purchase. They made marketing focuses on the purchase and the advocacy phases of their customer journey so that they could convert throughout the entire customer journey. So again, this is relation to your business, how we said, like, remember what part of the customer journey you are more focused on. In this example, these two women really didn't need any help in the advocacy phase, but they wanted to make sure that they were capturing as many customers as possible and turning that into as many sales as possible. So they needed to learn more about their customers and channel that through marketing and influence in the consideration phase, in the purchase phase, and then ultimately into the advocacy and loyalty phase. So we're going to move into our purchase phase here. It's your job as the marketer to influence leads and prospects to become paying customers. So again, we're going to use the word conversion. So a conversion means what is the important action for your business that you want a customer to do. It might be if you're selling a small good, it could just be a purchase. If you're a lead type business, it might be filling out a lead form. And then it might also be ultimately that large commit or a purchase or a client signing on with you. So you can have multiple conversions in the longer customer journey, but the word conversion just refers to what you want a customer to do for you. Think about a conversion for your individual business and maybe write down what that is, or if you have multiple, what those are. And from there, decide which leads are most likely to become customers for you. These are who we're going to focus our marketing efforts on. So understanding the customer persona, like we talked about earlier, is really helpful for figuring out the conversion here. We want to identify customers that are ready to make a purchase and share the right marketing messages to them with a timely call to action for people who are ready to make that purchase decision. We'll convert more customers when our purchase process is as streamlined as possible. So if you think about a website where you've had to go through maybe 2 or 3 pages and a lot of forms or boxes to fill out before you make that purchase, that might have been a little bit more frustrating for you than maybe Amazon, where you can purchase in 1 click. The more streamlined that you can make your purchase process, the more likely a customer is to convert. The longer purchase process that we have, the more chances that we have for a customer to get frustrated and drop off or move somewhere else. You might be wondering, how do I know where a customer is in their journey? a great way to think about this is that by looking at their actions. So certain actions can signal that they are more likely to convert than less likely. This might be signing up for your email list would be an early action, whereas a form completion might be a more later in the buying journey action. Any of these ideas that you see here on your screen can be an indication that a customer is interested in making a purchase decision, and can be that indicator for you that a customer is closer to that conversion or that purchase than others who might be in still the consideration phase. So you've identified customers that are ready to make a purchase, and it's time to share content and calls to actions that are designed to make the customer convert. So as I mentioned, this cupcake business, they sent coupons to people who abandoned their shopping carts. So when I say abandoned shopping carts, what I mean is a customer put items in their cart and then didn't make a purchase. So you might be wondering, how can I find that information? If you have an analytics account in Google, you can definitely figure out how to identify who put items in their cart and then didn't make that purchase. So this business sent coupons to people who had items in their cart but then didn't make a purchase. That would be an example of a call to action, because it encourages the customer to complete that purchase, encourages the customer to finalize their purchase and commit. It could be discounts or special deals, exclusive offers with more of like a VIP feel. You could send an invitation to special content like a webinar or an event, or you could share customer testimonials. So you want to present value adds in a way that sounds compelling, time sensitive, exclusive, and this is where your brand message and writing will come into play. We talked a little bit about this, but you really want to streamline your purchase process and reduce the number of checkout steps as much as possible. If you have to sign in for a purchase on your site, consider adding guest checkout, which will help customers streamline their buying process. You can also provide value-added services or benefits throughout the checkout process. So if you can get that checkout process as streamlined as possible, you're more likely to move customers to a conversion. You've heard me talk about Google Analytics a few times during our conversation. It's a free tool that you can use to understand visitor behavior on your website and your mobile app. So it's, again, a free tool that analyzes your website, understands customer traffic, and can help provide you with a lot of the answers that we've been talking about today. What type of demographic, geographic information, psychographic information, how does your customer fit into those? What other words are your customers searching for? How many people come to your website and then immediately leave because they didn't find the information that they were looking for? How many people come to your website and put something in your cart, but then don't make the ultimate purchase? You can answer all these questions through analytics. So if you don't already have an analytics account set up, I recommend definitely doing that with your website if you have one, which is accessible via g.co/analytics.
Michelle, I did have a question about the analytics. What if you're managing a page that is not a direct, it's a redirect? Let's say, for example, you have a page, let's say, I don't know, edgarscookies.com, but I already have a website at cookieschicago.com, but I redirect everything from my website, my URL, to the other site that I had for years. Does that affect the final analytics, or do I need to really have two analytics accounts?
Yeah, so I would have analytics on that second business. I would question the reasoning behind having those two websites, but if you feel really confident in having both of those and that's the way that you want it to be, I would say set up two analytics accounts and just differentiate those between those two separate accounts.
All right, thanks.
So The other aspect of Google offerings that can really help with your business is Google Ads. So we talked a little bit about this earlier. It's those things that you find at the top of the search page, the bottom of the search page, and they drive sales with calls to action. You're really able to customize an ad that is from your brand perspective and your brand messaging that shows at the time you want, to the people that you want, when they're searching the words that you want. So it's really a great way to target customers exactly when and how they want to interact with your business in a way that fits best with your needs and your brand messaging. So we're going to move into our loyalty and advocacy section, which is the last phase of our customer journey. Have you ever been like an advocate for a business you love? If you have, think about how you were that advocate and what ways you were able to raise awareness for that business with other people or advocate for them long term. These are some good ideas for how customers might be able to do that for you. We want to sustain customers long term, build loyalty, and provide more value to them. So this might be programs and incentives. It might be providing them a really strong interaction and service after they have made that purchase, and maybe encouraging advocacy for others. So that could be a loyalty program, a referral program, asking them for Google reviews, whatever it might be. We want to sustain them and make sure that they know that we value their business and their long-term customer journey. We can do this by, again, staying in touch, having a really good customer service model through the time that they're working with you, asking for feedback, continually improving, and delighting them in unexpected ways. So maybe that's with a loyalty program, giving them a small gift with purchase, whatever it might be. Think about how this fits for your business and really focus on building customer loyalty long term, because that's going to help you not only sustain customers who can keep coming back to you, but then they'll reach out to future customers as well, and provide that really good word of mouth advertising for you. Loyalty programs and incentives will help you sustain the customer long term. So this could be VIP or exclusivity, something that offers them like a special sneak peek or videos that help them understand your product better. You could offer discounts or perks like coupons or reward programs, or you could offer personalization. So considering things like maybe sending them a personalized note for large purchases, or maybe a special email on birthdays, things like that. So thinking about how you can personalize your experience with your customer, especially if you have one of those larger purchases that's maybe a longer customer journey, you can think about this as a touch point with them. Again, encouraging customer advocacy by asking for online reviews, maybe giving referral programs, or even doing contests or social media sharing can help not only sustain your customers long-term, but then easily get new customers by reaching out through their networks. Here's a few tips on managing Google reviews that you've gotten. Remember that you're applying publicly, so anybody can see what you write, which in my perspective is a really good opportunity to promote your brand message with customers in an online presence. It's a really good idea to respond to many reviews, not just the bad ones, because it shows customers that you are engaging with business. Shows customers that you are engaging with them and that your business is responsive. You can respond promptly, write genuine and courteous responses, share your point of view, and offer incentives or advertisements in your reviews as well. This shows the customers that the business is interested in engagement, really values the customer, and cares about their brand. So who can be an advocate for your business? This might be customers, employee partners or vendors, or even influencers or affiliates. So think about this in the eyes of your individual business. Maybe one of these calls to you more than another one. Maybe you have a very trendy product that is beneficial for advertising through influencers or affiliates. Maybe you have something that is a long-term lead that Once your customer joins with you, they are going to have a really great customer experience and then will be an advocate for you by word of mouth. So perhaps your customers are your best advocate. Think about this for your unique business and maybe pick one of these that is a really good advocate for you and focus on those. So coming up in our last 5 minutes, we're going to recap and go over just a few resources. Again, this is our marketing for awareness and consideration. So awareness and consideration, we want to ask the questions, how do we reach our customers and can they find the answers? We want to define our customers, maybe create a persona, make a brand for our business, get our business online, listen and learn from our customers, communicate and deliver value to them while they're in the buying decision process, and develop relationships. We want to focus on marketing for purchase and advocacy in the second stages of the buying process. And this is where we identify key actions and ready customers who are ready to make the purchase. We share timely calls to action. We streamline our purchase process to make it as easy to purchase as possible. And then after the purchase, we build customer loyalty, sustain customer loyalty, and encourage advocacy to new customers. If you enjoyed today's program and you want to expand to other programs with Grow with Google, you can register for a free virtual workshop at g.co/growonair. There is all kinds of digital skill workshops there, and there are many that you can do remotely. So I definitely recommend checking out g.co/growonair to learn more about other virtual workshops. As a note for small businesses, Google offers credits for Google Career Certificates. U.S. businesses can get up to $500 scholarships per company for Google Career Certificates that are worth up to $100,000 in workforce training per company. So you can apply at that link you see at the bottom, grow.google/certificates for business. And then you can use those certificates to train your employees in things like data analytics, digital marketing and e-commerce, IT support, project management, or user experience UX design. So this is a really great opportunity to get free training from Google for your company and for your employees, which will help not only your employees, but your business as a whole. Lastly, this workshop, again, is brought to you by Grow with Google, and it helps people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their business. So you can always access free online trainings and tools at google.com/grow, which is another good resource for you to explore more content like we've had today. So if there are any questions, I'd love to answer them in the last few minutes that we have here, but thank you so much for joining.
Michelle, this has been tremendous, not only for first-time business owners, entrepreneurs, but also those who've been in the business for a while and kind of lost their way and leveraging Google and social media for their benefits. So thank you so much, Michelle. And of course, I thank you for that recap at the end there. But if there's any one thing you can say that you highly, let's say highly recommend that any of us and all of us do to take advantage of Google's power in enabling us to grow, what is that?
Ultimately, I think my best advice is if you have a website, get to know Google Analytics. That can be an amazing asset for your business. And we have workshops and other resources on how to use Google Analytics. It can be overwhelming at first, but that analytics tool will provide so much information about your customers, how they're finding you, and what they're doing with your website. And it will really help you push your business forward in a data-centered approach.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Michelle. And those of you who are here, please click the survey that Young Tran had sent out from National ACE. Thank you very, very much, Michelle. And I wanted to just pass it over to Young Tran for any last comments or any thoughts.
Thank you so much, Edgar. And thank you so much, Michelle. Also, thank you, Tommy in the back end for setting up this webinar. Everyone has been so great. And thank you for the audience for attending our wonderful webinar today. If you have any questions, please send it to our emails. You're free to check out the nationalace.com to check out different grant opportunities, different resources, different business workshops and whatnot. And thank you for plugging in the survey. If you have any thoughts, feelings, however this might help you, definitely let us know about it. And we'll, as Tommy put in the chat also, the full webinar recording will be on YouTube. And so feel free to check out that there.
Great, Young. Yes, absolutely. So as we are growing our social media awareness for SBDC at Chinese Mutual Aid, we have new channels, and the YouTube channel is one of them. So this recording will be posted there shortly. But thank you very much, everyone. And as we shared, feel free to reach out to us in case you, or maybe you know someone who has a business need. We're here to help. National AIDS, thank you very, very much for being part of this as you help all Asian businesses grow across the United States. And of course, Michelle, Google has been a very important partner locally and nationally. So thank you very much from Google for all of this. And everyone, thank you for being here. Spread the word, share the links from the YouTube channel, and let them know that Illinois SBDC at Chicago is here to help small businesses grow and thrive. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.